Hey all, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the Knicks and as far as their trading situation is concerned. I think I talked about it in live yesterday, but I probably might go a little bit more after I had some sleep on it as well too. And the fact is like tonight's game, it's the NBA Finals between the Heat and the Nuggets. Chances are we're going to see probably the Nuggets win the first game. If the Heat win the first game, it would be it'd be amazing on their end as well too. But it would be different from how they played for the rest of the playoffs as well too. But in any case, I just want to bring back to a point where like there's a SI Sports Illustrated article about the fact that the Knicks needing a star with the team, and one of the ways of getting one is Karl Anthony Towns from Minnesota and trading basically Randall quickly and one of their 2024 draft picks for Cat basically, and I'm going to call Karl Anthony Towns as Cat in this situation. I think everyone does, or KAT. Is that a good move? Honestly, yeah. If the Minnesota Timberwolves would take that, I would love to. Yeah, I would love KAT Cat in with the Knicks. Randall. I mean, we saw again, nothing wrong with Randall. He during the regular season, those 80 games, you can have off days here and there, but when it comes to the playoffs, the guy pretty much falls, by the wayside and is non-existent practically. So yeah, I would love to have a Cat in place of Randall. Quickly, it's one of those things where one of the big things with Quickly is his defensive prowess. He's really good defensively. So one of the when Brunson and him are on the same floor, or he's on for Brunson, substituting for Brunson, that the Knicks defense goes up at that point. One of the drawbacks is he's got a contract. He's going to become a free agent next year, so it's one of those things where you can't sign him and keep Brunson with the contract that he has, as well as with Randall's contract and Barrett's contract. So I hate to say it, Quickly might have to go as a result. You do have McBride. You do have also what's his face, the other guy, McBride, who's kind of working up a little bit at that point, but he's kind of your backup point guard anyway, so use that in that situation. But from that aspect, I will say this, though, is if the Knicks were to do something like that and it came through, I don't think it elevates them, but it brings them into talks of at least getting to the conference finals. Whether winning the finals, that's a different story, but at least it gets them to the conference finals. That's a different, getting them into the finals themselves requires a little bit more than, Cat and Brunson at that point. Barrett, it's a question of can he grow? I don't know if he can grow at this point because, he did decent enough in the playoffs, but let's not forget, in the playoffs, the reason why he had those points was because he was getting to the line. That's similar to what Harden was in the beginning. As you saw, basically, he was able to get into the foul line much more quickly and much more to the point like his points elevated as a result of it. If most of the teams know how to work on Barrett, basically just close the lane up, you got him, because Barrett can't shoot, unfortunately. He can't shoot threes, which we've seen. He might get one here and there, but he sucks. We know that. Especially when he's contested, he can't get it in. He's not like a Jokic or a Curry. If he was, that would be a whole different story, but he's not. If anything, I was always saying in my beginning of some of my videos in my channel about work on with the Knicks, they should keep Brunson, work Brunson, and have Barrett and Toppin as basically their complementary players, and you could build around that core. Looking back right now and seeing what I am and basically sleeping on it a little bit more and such, I think, honestly, Brunson's not that tier one player, of course. He's done so well, but I think he's one of those things where he's that complementary star to, he's like a Pippen, but we need a Jordan. We don't have a Jordan, but he is that Pippen, basically, or close to a Pippen, essentially. He's almost like, I don't want to say Kyrie Irving, but more of, he's on the level of, I guess, Anthony Davis a little bit, and a Paul George. Honestly, if the Knicks can do this, I honestly think if the Knicks can trade Barrett, get Kawhi Leonard, trade Randall, and get Karl Anthony Towns, and keep him Brunson, I think that pushes the Knicks over onto the discussion of finals at that point, because quite honestly, it elevates him at that point if they can get Kawhi Leonard. Now, I know what you're thinking, basically. Kawhi Leonard Why would you do that? He's like as Stephen A would say, the worst superstar out there. Well, first off, I think because of what happened this season and what happened in the playoffs and everyone coming on him, I think it comes to the point where like that becomes a true motivational factor for him. Look at what happened with the San Antonio Spurs when they traded him to Toronto. That motivational factor made him that much of a superstar that he brought the Raptors into the finals and win the finals against a heavily favored Golden State Warriors team. Granted, like they were short, but they still won. So you get a Kawhi Leonard on your team, and I think with that chip on his shoulder, I think that elevates the team even more at that point. The thing is like I'm hoping the Clippers don't recognize that chip in the shoulder and like they're willing to trade him. With the Knicks, I think you trade a Barrett, you trade also some draft picks, and maybe even, I hate to say this, but McBride to get a Kawhi Leonard. And if you could trade Grimes, trade Grimes to the Clippers, trade quickly with Randall for Cat. That I think that helps out in the long term. Well, short term and long term at that point as well too. Barrett, I hate to say this, he's not going to do good, so you might as well trade him up. What happens with that power forward? Well, you still have Toppin, and I hate to say this, but like Toppin, I didn't realize how old he was. I thought he was like 24, 25, but it turns out he's going to be 26. How much time do you have for him to grow at this point? Because like you've experimented a little bit, he's not really working out. I think he needs to go to a team where you could trade him off. Maybe you trade him for some draft capital, or use him with RJ Barrett to get the Kawhi Leonard. Because you know what? Chances are Toppin might really do really well on the Clippers framework, similar to what Randall would work really well in Minnesota. Because the fact is like him and Gobert together, I think that they would fit nicely at that point as well too. Now with Brunson being the guy, I think they would need some shooters at this point, but that's where Kawhi comes in point at that point as well too, if they can get Kawhi. But with that, it's up there. Let's see what happens, because the thing is, everyone's saying, hey, the Knicks need a superstar, but the only way to get that superstar is you got to trade some capital for that. So we'll see what happens there. Of course, I should say that if you do like my channel, like my videos, like the content, and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Also, I welcome comments, so please leave your comment in the comment section. If you disagree with me or agree with me, let me know. I do respond to my comments when I do get notified and I see them. And sometimes I'll open up into another video at that point as well too. But you know what? Honestly, I would love to hear your opinions about my opinion, with this. Do you think the Knicks can actually trade Randall quickly and a 2024 draft pick? I'm hoping it's one of the conditionals for Karl Anthony Towns. Do you think that would be a good fit? The question is, what happens with Barrett, and then with Barrett, and the other question is what do you do with Josh Hart? He's gonna want some money, unfortunately. He wants some money. The question is, can the Knicks get that aspect of, if they were to re-sign Hart and able then to trade off Grimes with Barrett for a Kawhi Leonard and maybe a draft pick, that might help out in the long term. Because it all comes down to basically this. It all comes down to what happens with the Clippers and Kawhi, as well as Paul George for that matter. Same thing with the Boston Celtics. What happens with Brown? Do they go and extend Brown? He's really good. Let's put it that way. He is really good. The question is he a guy that can mesh well with Tatum? I don't know. Similar to with Embiid. Harden goes. Does Embiid want to stay with the Sixers? It's hard to say. Honestly, this is the one thing is, if Embiid wants to leave the Sixers and I'm the Knicks, yeah, I trade Randall, I trade Barrett, and I trade a draft pick for Embiid at that point, honestly. Let those two, Randall and Barrett, go to the Sixers so that the Knicks can get something in return with Embiid. I mean, he is that tier 1 superstar at that point as well too. Similarly, Brown, Jaylen Brown, I don't know how he is that sort of tier 1, but not there yet. I think it's one of those things where he's almost like a Harden. The question is if he went on another team, how well he would do. But I don't know. We'll see with that, basically. But with that, again, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your comments. I would love to discuss if you have any other, scenarios at that point as well too. I'd love to hear from you guys as well too with that. Again, if you do like my content, like my videos, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And again, like I said, I welcome feedback in the comment section, and I do respond to them when I do get notified about it, and they warrant a response. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and unrehearsed. Until next time.